Hey guys, how you doing? This is Kevin Zogschwert, and in this video I'm going to show you how I would learn to play guitar if I could start over. The first thing I'd do is go and learn this Quasi-Chromatic Scale. Hopefully you've already learned how to read tablature at this point, but if you haven't, this is starting out on the 6th string at the 1st fret. So you'll do 4 fingers, and don't forget to do down, up picking. You want to practice the picking pattern on these, and then go to the 5th string and do the same thing there. The 4th string, the 3rd string, 2nd string, all the way up to the 1st string. And then when you get done with that, start descending here. 5, 4, 3, 2 on each of those strings all the way down to the 6th string. The next thing I'd want to learn is the diatonic modes in the key of C. There's 7 of these modes, starting out on the 4th mode at F Lydian. And if you scroll all the way down here, you'll see it goes all the way to E Phrygian, the 3rd mode. So there's 7 of these scales. There's 3 notes per string, and that starts out on the 6th string in this case here. Now the point of learning this is you can memorize all of the natural notes on the fretboard. You'll be able to visualize all the notes on the fretboard with no sharps and no flats. And so you'd want to think about the letters here. This starts out with F and G here, but then it's just the alphabet after that. A, B, C, D, E, F, G from there, then A, B, C, D, E, F, G to there, and then A, B right there. And then you simply start on the next letter of the alphabet for the next scale. G Mixolydian starts on G, and so on. You start on the A note here, and just follow this principle all the way up. So learn all 7 of these scales and think about the letters as you go through them all and try and visualize the letters on the fretboard. Next, I'd want to learn the Diatonic Triads. These are 3-note chords, and there's 7 of these chords in every key. In the key of C here, we started off on G chord, and it goes all the way up to G chord at the octave. Now I did this on each string, and I recommend you do the same. You would start on the G chord here and think about each of these letters, G, B, D. Then you go to the A minor chord, play that, think to yourself what letters those are, A, C, and E, and so on. Notice these are all on the 6th string root. They all start at the 6th string. Then, as I get to this point here, the octave, you would start on the A string at the C chord here, which is C, E, G. Think about the letters for that. Then go to the D minor chord starting on the 5th fret, E minor starting on the 7th fret, and so on. Then that ends here, and the next sequence starts on the D string. So these are all starting points on the D string. Okay, all the way down to here, that ends right here. Then you go to the G string and start on the B diminished chord, and now all of the root notes for that are on the G string. And this way you will visualize all of the notes of the fretboard in the key of C, no sharps, no flats, all the natural notes in every position. And this would allow you to then know what notes your buddy is playing. Let's say he's playing an A minor chord, for example, and that has A, C, and E in it. You can look at his A minor chord that he's strumming and know that he's got A, C, and E, and you'll be able to find that in various positions across the fretboard using this system. So you definitely want to learn these, and that'll help a lot with learning the open position chords and also bar chords. This will be really substantial in learning those things as well. The next thing I'd learn is the pentatonic modes in the key of A minor. Don't let this key of A minor thing throw you off too much. It's the same thing as the key of C that we've been doing on all of these other exercises. It's just the relative minor of the key of C. So it's all the same notes, except in this case here we're only using 5 tones, pentatonic, 5 tones instead of 7 tones that we used in the diatonic modes. And so the benefit of this is that we're going to play 2 notes per string instead of 3 notes per string, and so that kind of works on your picking technique a little bit as well. You're going to do down up on every string all across these here. Now make note that this is only A, C, D, E, and G notes for the entire series. It just loops over from that point here. So that's why this one is the main scale, as it starts on the A here, and then you've got C, D, E, G, and then it repeats starting on A right there. So this G root scale at the beginning here is simply starting on the G, and then it starts to cycle through this from the A, C, D, E, G, right through there, and then again A, C, D, E, G. So you just take that through each of the starting points and do the same thing. So starting on the C note down here, that'll give you the C major pentatonic, even though it's the same letters as the A minor pentatonic. Okay, and then you just go and start on the 10th fret on the D here, Start on the 12th fret for the E and the G there at the 15th fret. And once again, be sure to say the letters to yourself or think the letters to yourself as you're going through this. That's part of the reason for doing these, is that you want to be able to memorize and visualize the letters of the fretboard. If you're getting some value from this, I appreciate you subscribing to the channel, and thank you so much for your support. Give that thumb a tap. The next thing I would do is learn the open position chords in key signatures. There's a lot of chords out there, and if you get a guitar chord encyclopedia, there's a heck of a lot of repetition. There's, you could find 26,000 chords in a guitar encyclopedia, for example. So you don't want to do that. It's probably incredibly overwhelming as a beginning guitar player. And so I would learn the chords in a given key signature. So it's staying with the theme here and learning the key of C, I would learn all the chords in the key of C. So I'd start off with this C chord right here. I would go to D minor next, then E minor. And I'd go and do the F, then the G, and then the A minor. Okay, so those are all the 6 chords in the key of C. There's a 7th chord that's not on this chart called B diminished, and the reason that's not on there is it's not a very commonly used chord, as you don't hear it a lot in popular songs, and you won't need it for some basic chord progressions. With these 7 chords here, they are also going to be movable. So if you put on your guitar what's called a capo, if you clamp the capo on the 1st or 2nd fret, it'll automatically change key signatures for you. So these are the first chords that I would learn, is these 6 here that I've just circled. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, and A minor. And then this chart is a pretty standard chart, so these other chords are going to be valuable, but I would learn these in key first. The next thing I would do is learn how to play bar chords. You'll see here I've got the E-type bar chord listed. This is basically an E major chord, and it's based on the E string, the 6th string. So that's why it's called an E-type. It doesn't really have anything to do with the name of the chord, as you'll see with this F chord here. This is starting on the 1st fret of the 6th string, and so now it's an F chord. But it's called an E-type because it's based on the E string. But you'll see how useful this is they're shiftable. So once you've got this 3-note pattern here of the E chord, you can then bar all 6 strings here with your first finger, and then move those other fingers over, and you've got yourself any chord that you can imagine, really. So if we moved up the fretboard, you could go to F sharp, for example, and play that same shape there, and you get an F sharp major, right? Or put your first finger on the A, and you get an A major chord with this F chord shape here. So just memorize the shape, and then move your first finger up to any of these notes, and you'll get that chord that you need. Moving on with that, you'd want to learn all of the variations from that point. So as long as your first finger's on the F here, you'll alter some of the fingering. In this case, the middle finger was lifted and became a bar for those 3 notes. So that gives you F minor. Then you'll notice over here that the ring finger is lifted to give you an F7. And then over here, they were both lifted to give you an F minor 7. So just 4 shapes there, and those are completely shiftable, so you could find basically any chord you would need for popular songs for the most part with just that information alone. So instead of trying to memorize 26,000 chords from the guitar chord encyclopedia, you could do it this way and just use your root notes as a guide and memorize the shapes. Now you also have these on the A type. We got the A string root notes, right? So we're going to be based on the A string, and that's based on the A chord there. And notice there's 3 fingers used on that, so that way when you go to do a bar chord, those 3 fingers just shift over and you bar at the 1st fret to get a B flat. And now this chord is completely shiftable, right? If you move this first finger to a different location and keep all the fingering the same, you'll get the next chord that you need, like a C chord, for example, there, and holding those notes there and that note there, you'll get a C major bar chord from the A string. And of course, once again, try and visualize the letters in those chords if you can. Think about what letters are there. And then you have the same alterations we just talked about from the E type. You've got the A type alterations. So instead of having it barred right here, you've got this note here, and that becomes the minor chord. And then the 7 chord, by lifting out that middle one, you get that dominant 7 chord, and then minor 7 by getting rid of this one here and shifting this one here. So that gives you 4 types of chords from the A string root. So between the E-type bar chords and the A-type bar chords, you can find almost any chord that you need on the fretboard using that technique. Simply move your first finger to the location that you need for your starting letter and use the shape or type of shape that you need for each of these, be it minor or dominant 7 or minor 7. So here are a couple of bonus pointers that I would absolutely want to learn. The main things you want to do is you want to learn the notes first, and you also want to learn your chords, right? Learn the notes, learn the chords. But the second thing I would do with that is I want to learn rhythm. I want to practice timing. I want to practice quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, these kinds of things. And I'd want to do that with a drum machine or a metronome. So there's 2 options that you could choose from here. I'm using the iPad iOS, and the first one is called GarageBand, and there's a beat sequencer inside of that. And I've got that counting in 4s, and you've got eighth notes here on these blues. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Notice I've got the cymbal crash on beat 1 here every time. That'll help you keep time with all of your rhythms and measures. Okay, and the second one here is called the Guitar Toolkit. This has a lot of great features, including scales and chords and things, but it's got this nice metronome feature here. I've got it on the drum machine mode, and this will be very similar to GarageBand, as you'll hear. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And so you can edit that grid as well by adding beats and things on that. But it also has this metronome mode. If you wanted to keep it simple, you could go to a 4/4 time signature on this and just have it click on 4 beats each. If you'd like a more detailed lesson on these topics, my online video course, Guitar Accelerator, is now available at kjzmusic.com. It includes over an hour of video lessons, plus downloadable PDFs of all the exercises I shared in this video, plus more. Just go to the top of the page and click the Guitar Course link, and that'll take you through to the sign-up page. And those are the 6 main things I would do to learn guitar if I had to start all over. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel, and thank you so much for your support. I'll see you in the next one.